Are you a trainer wondering how to engage your learners with effective training techniques? Then this video is for you. You realize that all you need to know is that sometimes being an expert alone on the topic that you'll be training is not enough. Why do I say that? Because for sure, you need to get results and to boost performance as a trainer. But in order to be able to do this, you must master effective training techniques. These are not just techniques or tricks, but they are actually the foundation of what makes you a good trainer of trainers. So in this video, I'll highlight only 3 effective training techniques that you need to master as a TOT trainer in order to be able to be more effective, or for lack of a better word, in order to ensure that that training program produces the desired result, outcome, or impact. Technique number 1 is the art of storytelling. Yes, in communication, we say that in order to be able to build connections, storytelling plays a major role. People might forget the facts that you stated when you are having a conversation with them, but they will never forget a good story. So as a trainer, you can easily be able to incorporate stories into your training when delivering the content to the learners. Instead of just listing the main points, make your message relatable through a narrative or a narration. For example, you can share your personal experience with the subject matter, depending on the topic that you're training about. Let's say you're training on effective customer experience skills. The learners or the trainees will be looking forward to want to know more about how your own experience has been when handling some of these irate clients or demanding clients. If you've ever encountered any challenges, what did you do to overcome that? So that they know that all this that you're sharing with them is not just theory, but actually you've been able to experience the same challenges they could be experiencing, and you've been able to overcome them effectively. And that is why you are a legit source or an expert, credible enough to be able to deliver the information. So you can share a story about your personal failures, your personal challenges or issues you have encountered and how you managed to overcome them. You can also share a story around a team's success, depending on the subject that you're training on. You can share a story around a customer journey. If you're talking about retention, getting referrals, repeat businesses from clients. So storytelling is a very important art to include in your delivery during trainings in order to be able to make an impact, or for building connections, in short. Avoid getting used to boring materials that will definitely make the learners to either doze off or not follow through during your implementation to the end. Instead, all you need to do is to start telling stories. Start using stories. Stories will always create emotions. Stories will always make the lesson to be more and more memorable. Stories will always give room for the learners to also feel vulnerable and be able to share their own experiences as far as the subject matter is concerned. The main goal is to remain relevant, and not just relevant, but to be more effective and make the learning experience more interactive as possible. So the stories will help you to build connections and rapport with your learners. Technique number 2 is active learning. You realize that to be a great trainer, all you need to do is to stop talking at your learners or the trainees and be more open to a conversational engagement. Very critical when it comes to delivering effective training programs. In case you're wondering, how do I incorporate active learning when I'm delivering my training sessions online or I'm delivering my training sessions in person? You can have questionnaires, you can run polls if you're doing it virtually, you can prepare questions in advance that you would want to ask the learners. And when you're preparing questions, have it in mind that you're not setting an exam. Make the questions as simple and as easy as possible. The questions are just meant to assess the level of understanding of the learners, whether learning is taking place or not. So by using questionnaires, using polls, sometimes even putting the learners into different groups, discussions, will make the learning environment to be as active, as vibrant as possible. When people are when people are doing something and they are being actively involved in what is happening, they will definitely understand the message better. So all we need to do in order for us to be more effective as trainers is to have a mindset shift from the traditional lectures or teaching to a more interactive training method, which is very critical or very crucial for effective training techniques. Gone are the days when all we would do was to teach instead of to train. So the learners need to be made part and parcel of the learning. And this is where active learning becomes an effective technique to master as a trainer. And the last and final technique that I would want to bring to your attention for purposes of learning in this video is creating a safe space. Most of the time as trainers, we do not create a safe space for learners to be vulnerable and just be able to also share their experiences or their journey around the subject matter. Having a safe space where people can be able to ask questions, the learners can be able to share their thoughts, their line of thought around the subject matter without the fear of being victimized or of being judged or the fear of failure is very important. Sometimes we want the learners to speak up, and when they make all the effort to contribute into the conversation or the discussion, we stifle that energy or that enthusiasm by calling them, writing them off, even when what they have said is right or wrong. All you need to do is to create a safe space for learning. Have what we call a judgment-free training room or a judgment-free learning space where you encourage questions, you encourage participation, and even there are rewards for participation that will encourage, that will motivate the learners to participate into the learning. You realize that when you are building when you're building towards having the best tools for effective training techniques, then creating a safe space is one of the non-negotiable techniques that every trainer should never overlook. So in a nutshell, your journey to becoming an effective trainer begins or starts right now. The energy in your training room should immediately change after watching this video. So in a nutshell, your journey to becoming an effective trainer begins now. Remember, all you need to do is to transfer this kind of energy into your training rooms. And one of the reasons why the learners would always walk out of a learning session feeling like maybe that was one of the most boring sessions they have ever attended or not is because we are not able to incorporate storytelling, we are not able to incorporate active learning, and we are not able to create a safe space for learning. If maybe this is an area that you need to improve on, then we encourage you to join our Training of Trainers workshop or program. It's a very robust program that not only touches on these effective ways of being able to deliver your training programs, but it also prepares you on how do you develop the content, how do you carry out training needs assessment, and so many other areas that are covered. The link below will guide you on how to sign up for the upcoming intake, and we'll be looking forward to seeing you in class. Thank you for watching.